Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. The Sacramento Kings pushed hard for a Jonathan Kuminga sign-and trade during the summer, but now it's the Golden State Warriors who should be exploring a deal with their Pacific rival that doesn't include the young forward. Draymond Green lamented his team's defense again after Wednesday's loss against the Houston Rockets, and particularly Golden State's point-of-attack issues, which have been a growing concern so far this season. Fortunately, the perfect answer to address that might come from the Kings, who are expected to part ways with Keon Ellis as part of a raft of moves that could take place leading into February's trade deadline. Warriors should be exploring a trade for Keon Ellis. The Warriors will face significant competition on the trade market to pull off an Ellis deal, largely because of the 25-year-old's $2.3 million expiring salary, which essentially opens possibilities for every team in the league. The most coveted player on Sacramento's roster has been guard Keon Ellis, according to various NBA executives who've spoken with Hoops Hype, Michael Scotto reported on Wednesday. Many executives around the league have been surprised by Ellis declining playing time with the Kings this season despite his valuable 3-and-D skill set. Sacramento had kept Ellis out of trade talks regarding Kuminga during the offseason, something that now looks truly bizarre given his seemingly inevitable place on the market now. As Scotto alluded to, Ellis' playing time has been on the decline amid a guard-heavy rotation at the Kings, who are 5-14 and 13th in the Western Conference. While Ellis may be averaging less than 18 minutes per game at the Kings, he could be a legitimate starter for the Warriors based on his skill set as a high-level perimeter defender and a 42.9% three-point shooter both this season and on his 4-year career. Golden State could flip an end-of-the-roster player like Guy Santos, Tracy Jackson-Davis, and/or Gary Payton II+ draft assets to Sacramento for Ellis, allowing them to only add to their current rotation mix. Whether the Kings would do a deal that doesn't involve Kuminga is a different story altogether. Not to mention there could be plenty of rival teams that are willing to offer more for the 6 feet 4 inches guard anyway. Yet whether it's through Ellis, another trade target, the return of DeAnthony Melton, or simply greater team chemistry, the Warriors need to get back to being an elite defensive team if they want any hope of mixing it with the top teams in the league toward the end of the season. The Golden State Warriors announced a major update prior to Wednesday's 104-100 loss against the Houston Rockets, with Jonathan Kuminga and DeAnthony Melton scrimmaging with Santa Cruz as they enter the final stages of their return from injury. However, they weren't the only Golden State players to be assigned to Santa Cruz. Third-year forward Guy Santos was also part of the scrimmage, further proving that the Brazilian is well outside Golden State's rotation plans even as they battle growing injury concerns. Guy Santos has failed to crack the rotation consistently this season. Even with Kuminga sidelined for a 7th straight game against the Rockets on Wednesday night, Santos has been unable to earn consistent minutes as a like-type replacement in terms of size and position in the rotation. Santos did see just under 6 minutes in the second half on Wednesday as Steve Kerr and the Warriors desperately tried to find some answer for Houston's dominance on the glass. They had 25 offensive rebounds in the 4-point win. If anything, Santos' minutes only further aided in the change of momentum towards the Rockets though. The former second-round pick missed both of his field goal attempts, grabbed just 1 rebound, had 2 turnovers and was a -11 as Houston overcame a 12-point halftime deficit. While the playing time for Santos may have stemmed from the rebounding element, it also came about due to an ankle injury to Gary Payton II, who left the game in the first half after less than 5 minutes on the floor. In the 7 games Kuminga has now missed, Kerr has preferred to go small by elevating Payton's minutes rather than keeping some size integrity by giving Santos more opportunity. We can argue vigorously either way on whether that's the right or wrong decision, but either way it doesn't say much about Santos' place in the Golden State pecking order. Being assigned to the G League, even if it's just a scrimmage, isn't a great sign if you're a third-year player and it has nothing to do with injury. Yet that's the reality Santos has found himself in, having seen 5 DNPs so far this season while playing double-digit minutes on just 4 occasions. With Kuminga's return imminent and an expiring contract that isn't even fully guaranteed until January 10, It's hard to see how Santos recovers from this current position in time to earn a new deal with the Warriors beyond this season. Warriors coming to brutal Al Horford realization that they should have already known. He may have been their best option in free agency, but he is not the rim protector they need. The Golden State Warriors, despite the excellent play of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler, have gotten out to a 10-10 start to the season, already digging a hole for themselves to climb out of in a loaded Western Conference. To make matters worse, moreover, their biggest weakness from last season, their inability to defend in the paint, has not improved even marginally with Al Horford on the roster, and, although he is now out with injury, the Warriors must soon come to a serious realization about his role on the team. Although Horford presents a veteran presence and a reliable body at the center position, he is likely not the solution they hoped he would be to their problems on the interior. The Warriors have struggled mightily to defend the rim this season. Although Golden State defeated the Houston Rockets in 7 games in the first round of last year's playoffs, the intensity of the matchup revealed a vital truth. The Warriors could not slap Draymond Green at the 5 and hope to compete for a championship. Although Green is still one of the most capable defenders in the league, it is unfair to ask him to go against players against whom he is vastly outmatched in size on a night-to-night basis. Therefore, Golden State's off-season signing of Horford to a 2-year, $12 million contract was meant to address this issue. Last season, Horford started 42 games at center for the championship-contending Boston Celtics, posting a 1.3 defensive box plus-minus while anchoring a top defense in the NBA. This season, at age 39, Horford has yet to start a game for the Warriors and has posted a minus 1.9 defensive box plus-minus, a number that would be the worst in his career if it holds steady. Moreover, Golden State has given up the 10th most points, on average, to opponents in the paint this season. It is fair to say that, if they cannot solve this issue by the end of the season, it could severely limit their chances as championship contenders. Is their defense salvageable if they're going to depend upon Horford? There is a silver lining in all of this. Quinton Post, who has started 8 games at center for the team, has shown marked improvements on the defensive end of the floor. Steve Kerr comments on how DeAnthony Melton has looked in practice and when he could make season debut. The Golden State Warriors have been inconsistent this season, getting out to a 10-10 start. The Golden State Warriors are coming off a 104-100 loss to the Houston Rockets, and to make matters worse, Stephen Curry got injured. Curry is expected to miss roughly 1 week after he sustained a quad contusion. While he will miss some time, the good news is Curry is believed to have avoided a serious injury. In the meantime, the Warriors will have to try to win some games without their top star. Veterans Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green were very vocal about the Warriors' bad defense in their last game. Stephen Curry gets injured versus Houston Rockets. Worst case scenario for the Warriors, Stephen Curry suffers a right quad contusion. Golden State now sits in 8th place in the deep and talented Western Conference, 2.5 games out of a top 6 seed. With Curry out, the Warriors will need multiple players to step up to avoid falling further back in the standings. They are also hoping to get DeAnthony Melton back soon, who is in the final stages of rehabbing from a torn ACL. Steve Kerr said Melton has looked good in rehab and will have a chance to play during the Warriors' upcoming road trip. Kerr said Melton went through all of practice and is looking good in his rehab. He said Melton is out for the rest of the homestand, but there is a chance he will play on the upcoming road trip. What DeAnthony Melton's return means for the Golden State Warriors. Melton coming back to the Warriors' rotation will see him mostly defend point guards despite playing shooting guard on offense. Kerr experimented with very small lineups using Melton last season, pairing him with combinations of Curry, Gary Payton II, Brandon Podziemski and Buddy Hield. Melton probably won't start right away, but he could earn a starting spot over time. In small ball lineups, the Warriors could roll out Curry, Melton, Moses Moody, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. In bigger lineups, Melton might come off the bench while someone like Quinton Post slides into the starting group. Warriors shoot themselves in the foot in Lauri Markkanen talks. Golden State sits trapped in the center of the Western Conference. The team many projected as a top 4 contender has opened with a flat 10-10 record and already trails the Houston Rockets by 4 games. The loss to a short-handed Rockets team cut deeper than usual because it revealed how an undermanned opponent can now expose Golden State's limitations. Their small ball identity no longer bends matchups or creates nightly advantages. The league has grown bigger, faster and far more physical. Golden State must adapt or face a slow slide toward irrelevance. That tension now drives every decision inside the franchise, but a recent decision looms even larger as a huge miss. The Warriors made a big mistake when they engaged in trade talks with Utah for Lauri Markkanen. Steph Curry remains brilliant, but he cannot anchor the offense every night. Jonathan Kuminga's injury exposed structural issues that lingered beneath early wins. The bench lacks size, physicality, and consistent scoring. Golden State has won once in its last 5 games, and Curry's recent quad contusion adds pressure at the worst possible time as he's expected to miss over a week. Their early season burst masked the flaws now shaping their identity. This roster is too small and too dependent on Curry. It also struggles to match the athleticism of stronger Western teams. Why Markkanen looked like the perfect fit. The Warriors once dictated pace and shape with small ball lineups. Opponents now exploit mismatches, dominate rebounds, and hunt Golden State's weaker defenders. The Warriors need length, switchability, and reliable scoring. Markkanen checks every box. He is an above-the-rim 7-footer who shoots threes at an elite rate. He's averaging 28.5 points and 6.1 rebounds while shooting 47.3% from the field, 37.7% from deep and 89.3% at the line. He attempts 8.9 threes per game and bends defenses the moment he crosses half court. Curry would benefit immediately from that gravity. Lauri Markkanen's skill set fits the Warriors on paper, but trade talks have since stalled. According to multiple reports, the Warriors reportedly offer Moses Moody and several draft picks to the Jazz. Then second-year guard Brandon Podziemski was off the table. Utah's leverage and the market reality. The new obstacle is Utah's mindset. The Jazz lose enough to stay in the race for a top pick but produce enough to showcase Markkanen's value. They want immediate contributors in return. Their negotiations with the Pistons has revealed how high their asking price is. According to Mark Stein, Utah is open to moving Markkanen only for a significant package, and any deal would almost certainly have to include 22-year-old guard Ausar Thompson. Golden State cannot match that tier of prospect even with optimism around Kuminga. Markkanen agreed to a 5-year, $238 million deal in 2024, keeping him under contract through 2028 to 29. His salary increases each year, which heightens Utah's leverage and the price of any offer. Stein reported that the Jazz hope to be competitive in 2026 to 27 and have signaled to rival teams that any trade offers they are prepared to consider, whether they target Markkanen or otherwise, have to keep them competitive. That stance strengthens Utah's negotiating position. Limited assets and a risky future. Golden State can trade only 3 first-round picks outright. They can add 3 pick swaps and 2 second-rounders, but they do not control any external first-round selections. Zach Lowe predicted that Utah might ask for at least 4 picks and 4 swaps for Markkanen. The actual cost may land lower, but even a 3-pick offer would push Golden State into a dangerous future as the franchise nears a post-Curry era. The franchise risks overcommitting and leaving little protection for a necessary rebuild. For now, the Warriors must confront the consequences. They saw a perfect fit in Markkanen, delayed and now lack the assets to close the deal. The window narrows and the missed opportunity lingers.